Welcome to Soju TV. Nursery Rhymes. Soju, Soju, Soju TV. La la la, come sing with me.
Welcome to today's Explainer. We're diving into the life of someone who historical sources describe as literally legendary. You know, history is packed with kings. Some built massive empires, others won these grand, sweeping wars. But today, we're looking at a leader whose life was defined by absolute sacrifice, brilliant intellect, and just profound resilience. We're talking about Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. He was the son of the great Shivaji Maharaj and the second Chhatrapati of the Maratha Empire. Looking at his life gives us this fascinating masterclass in asymmetric warfare and unbreakable ideological resolve, which honestly is still incredibly relevant today. Okay, let's dive right into this. The source material presents this incredibly powerful core premise about Sambhaji Maharaj. It says, the one who accepted death, but not the conversion of his religion. And wow, that isn't just some dramatic historical statement. It is absolutely the defining characteristic of his legacy in Maharashtra today. He's remembered as a warrior and a king who literally embraced death over giving up his core beliefs. But to really understand how a leader reaches that kind of unbelievable resolve, we got to start at the very beginning.
Section 1. Childhood and Scholar Prince. So, Sambhaji Maharaj was born on May 14, 1657 at the Purandar Fort. But right from the start, his childhood was tough. When he was only 2 years old, his mother, Saibai, passed away. And without his mother's affection, he was raised under the careful guidance of his grandmother, Jijabai. She's the one who really planted those deep seeds of culture and loyalty to Swarajya, the concept of self-rule, right into his heart. And what's wild is that, because of the super intense political climate back then, he was thrust into the cutthroat world of imperial politics when he was just 9 years old. 9!
Now, what's really interesting here is a side of Sambhaji Maharaj that honestly gets overlooked a lot. We usually just picture him as this rugged, unstoppable warrior, right? But he was actually a profound scholar. I mean, from a very young age, he showed exceptional intelligence. He mastered multiple languages: Sanskrit, Marathi, Persian, and Hindi. And he didn't just read literature, he wrote it. He authored this complex Sanskrit treatise called Buddhibhushan, which dives deep into politics, ethics, and administration. It's so rare in history to find leaders who could wield both a sword and a pen with such equal devastating mastery.
Section 2. Mughal Court and Chhatrapati Title.
Following the Treaty of Purandar in 1665, that 9-year-old Sambhaji was actually sent to the Mughal court under Mirza Raja Jai Singh. Just imagine that for a second, being 9 years old and sitting right there in the court of your absolute greatest enemy. But he didn't just sit there quietly. He used this time to do an intense, first-hand study of how the Mughals worked, their politics, their administration, their military setups. He watched their strengths and, crucially, their weaknesses. And through the whole thing, despite being totally surrounded by the sheer grandeur of the Mughal Empire, he never once let go of his self-respect or those Swaraj values his father taught him.
That brings us to a massive turning point, the year 1680. This was the year the great Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj passed away. It plunged the entire empire into deep grief and left behind this massive power vacuum. Naturally, a fierce succession struggle kicked off, with some courtiers plotting to place Rajaram Maharaj on the throne instead. But Sambhaji Maharaj, he didn't back down for a second. He firmly crushed those internal conspiracies, stabilized the empire, and officially ascended as the second Chhatrapati. But, his greatest challenge was just starting to appear on the horizon.
Section 3. Guerrilla Struggle with Aurangzeb.
The historical texts really emphasize the sheer, crazy scale of this conflict. On one side, you have Aurangzeb. He was the most powerful emperor of his time, packing millions of soldiers, unbelievable wealth, and this one obsessive dream, the complete destruction of the Maratha Empire. He even marched south himself to get it done. And standing in his way, Sambhaji Maharaj. He definitely didn't have millions of soldiers, but what he did have was the unbreakable spirit of Swarajya and a total absolute mastery of guerrilla warfare.
Sambhaji Maharaj completely refused to fight Aurangzeb on Aurangzeb's terms. Instead, he used these high-speed guerrilla tactics that just bewildered the massive, slow-moving Mughal army. He continuously destroyed their camps, he ruthlessly attacked their supply lines. His campaigns were so swift and so relentless that he kept forcing the mighty Mughal Empire into a defensive corner. For 9 continuous years, he utterly exhausted the Mughal forces. In fact, the source text literally notes that for 9 whole years, he didn't let Aurangzeb sleep in peace.
Section 4. The Unfortunate Betrayal at Sangameshwar.
Well, in 1689, while Sambhaji Maharaj was stationed at Sangameshwar, a really tragic betrayal happened.
Information about exactly where he was got leaked to the Mughals by Ganoji Shirke, and this treachery gave the Mughal commander Mukarrab Khan the opening to launch a sudden, totally unexpected attack. Sambhaji Maharaj, along with his closest friend Kavi Kailash, was captured. It's widely considered one of the most painful and tragic turning points in Maratha history. Aurangzeb really thought that by capturing the king, the Maratha Empire was finally finished. But boy, was he mistaken.
Section 5. Unparalleled Sacrifice for Religion. When he was brought before the emperor as a captive, Aurangzeb gave him this stark, chilling ultimatum. The conditions were simple but absolute. Accept Islam, surrender the Maratha kingdom of Swarajya. If you do these things, you will save your life. It was a moment entirely designed to break a man's spirit completely.
So the really crucial point here is exactly how Sambhaji Maharaj responded. According to the historical texts, he firmly and definitively refused. He was subjected to unimaginable, inhuman torture over many days. Yet, his resolve never fractured. Not once. He absolutely refused to abandon his faith, and he totally refused to betray Swarajya. Even chained up, facing the absolute terrifying might of the Mughal emperor, Sambhaji Maharaj never bowed his head.
This final phase ends in profound tragedy. Captured at Sangameshwar in 1689, his unwavering refusal to surrender his kingdom or his dharma led straight to his doom. On March 11, 1689, he was cruelly executed. But here's the thing. While Aurangzeb destroyed his body, he completely failed to destroy his self-respect. Because of this ultimate, unyielding sacrifice, history gave him the eternal title of Dharmaveer, the brave warrior of religion.
Section 6. Maharashtra ignited after the sacrifice.
Let's look at how this all builds up. According to the texts, Aurangzeb made a massive, fatal miscalculation. He really believed that killing the king would essentially cut the head off the snake, right? He thought it would end the Maratha resistance forever. Instead, the sources tell us the exact opposite happened. The sheer brutality of his execution and the massive weight of his sacrifice sent a shockwave of absolute fury right across Maharashtra. It didn't break their spirit, it ignited it like wildfire. The resistance went completely decentralized. Suddenly, every single fort started fighting back. Every Maratha warrior just became infinitely more aggressive.
The legacy he left behind was just monumental. He was no longer just a king anymore. He became this eternal symbol of self-respect and the ultimate protector of Dharma. His unyielding loyalty inspired the people to fight back so fiercely that Aurangzeb actually spent the rest of his entire life stuck fighting down in the south. Seriously, this decentralized war, which was sparked entirely by Sambhaji Maharaj's sacrifice, initiated the slow, grinding fall of the mighty Mughal Empire itself. It's just a powerful historical reminder of how decentralized, ideologically driven resistance can exhaust even the biggest of empires.
And that is exactly why, even centuries later, his name is still chanted with such immense pride and reverence in Maharashtra. Dharmaveer Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj ki Jai. He's remembered as a leader who gave up his life, but never, ever his honor. Which leaves us with a truly fascinating historical question to ponder. By choosing death over defeat, did Sambhaji Maharaj actually secure the ultimate victory for the Maratha Empire? Think about that for a bit, and we'll see you in the next explainer.